What's going on, Consciouztv, your favorite breakdown commentator? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. We are back at the crack of dawn, getting into the things, child. I am surprised I'm even up because I was tired last night by the time I got done with y'all, girl. All the Diddy reporting, day 2 of trial. Then we got into the breaking news of Haley's restraining order against DDG, and that ended up being what, a 3-4 hour long, 5 hour long live, girl. So I was through, but I feel energized. I feel great. I feel pretty damn good. Probably going to take a nap after this so I can get ready for day 3 at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with, of course, Uda on Go, who's going to be giving us the rundown later on about what took place with Diddy's trial today, the cross-examination with Cassie, etc., all of that good stuff. But you guys see what we're here to get into. We are getting into the continuity of yesterday's breaking news when it comes to DDG and Haley and the craziness going on with their situation. But before we do so, go ahead and thumbs up the video. We need all the likes. We need all the things, honey. The king is kanging every damn which way, girl. The content is turning me every which way but damn loose at this point, child. So run those likes up. It don't cost you nothing. It helps to boost the algorithm, but more importantly, it helps to trigger up YouTube's notification system when you are sliding a like on the video. If you also appreciate everything that we do over here, you can donate to the platform on Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. Consciouztv spelled just how it is here on the channel. Conscious with a Z on the end. All information, links, handles are in the description box below. Also, shout out to all the new subbies. We are at 53.4 and counting because we're working, of course. Last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you and fat lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? Shout out to the 100 in the building already. Once again, you guys go ahead and run those likes up. Let me go ahead and speak to the Conscious Crew who up in her early. What's going on, Sherry? Hey, Moon Witch. Hey, Rashonda, the birthday girl. Hey, Rumors and Tea. What's going on, Dorothy? Hey, Sandra. Hey, Charity the Gift. Hey, Ian Gardner. Hey, Coda Girl. What's going on, Rear Trini Gal? What's going on, TDC, what's going on? Crystal, hey boo, what's going on? Whitney, hey everybody, hey Jackie, hey y'all. Okay, so we got to get into some commentary, girl. Yesterday's live stream was nuts, girl. This situation really got folk divided, and what's interesting is that the division is amongst women's community. I had got comments on my Instagram post yesterday from a Conscious crew member who was like, yesterday's live stream was so disturbing when you had to pick Misha's on. You know, I hope that you do an update because more documents have come out. I said, yes, darling. We're going to do an update and talk about all the things going on. And I said, you know, there's another perspective to have rather than calling the panelists yesterday pick Misha's. There's just going to be people who are going to be more objective. There are people who clearly understand that the restraining order is based upon one side of events, not both sides of events. And people have every right to want to hear both sides, to want to explore the commentary and the alleged evidence from all sides and then make an informed decision, especially because people know that these type of allegations can be easily weaponized against anyone. It's very easy for a woman to claim abuse falsely in this system where patriarchy has had a history of creating abusive dynamics between men and women. And what's interesting even about abuse, right? Because largely women are more vocal and transparent about abuse. Men are not, especially so-called abuse at the hands of women, because patriarchy keeps men from just making that their conversation, especially in a sexist society where women are considered the lesser or the weaker of the sexist. So men don't even really like given social commentary around DV as it relates to a man. However, statistics bear out that while men are reportedly higher in DV rates regarding physical abuse, women are equally matching men and being emotionally and mentally abusive. So it seems that we living in a society where both sexes contribute to abuse, but express that abuse very differently. Men more so express abuse through physical means, while women per se use psychological, emotional, and mental tactics in order to perpetuate abuse. And that's pretty much almost like 50-50 between men and women. And because we're living in the era of social media, we now recently have a space amongst society where men are taking to social media. Men are sharing their experiences of abuse, of the bitter baby mama. I was scourging through the internet this morning and just typed in, my baby mama lied on me. My baby mama weaponized police report, restraining order. My baby mama tricked me, my baby mama. And literally there were like hordes of videos by men who were speaking out about their experience of having the women in their lives lie on them, manipulate the judicial system, which can in some instances tend to lean in favor of the woman when it comes to men. As we talked about last night, I have men in my life personally who are going through very extreme and extraordinary degrees of abuse with the mother of their children, where the mother of the child is trying to use the child to control the man, weaponize against the man because the man doesn't want to be with them in a relationship. So they use the child to hurt the father, and they make it difficult to co-parent and all of these various things. So I've seen what this looks like as well when men are on the receiving side of a woman who is being manipulative, a woman who is being maniacal and diabolical. And shout out to all the women who came up on the platform last night who did not have any problem about acknowledging the fact that they have also witnessed this as women. And hell, some of them have been this woman, you know, in the past as well. So shout out to all the people who are never afraid to talk truth, who don't necessarily feel like they always have to cape for their tribe members. You know, this is something that I try to do, which is why I get in a lot of trouble with men's community, because I will speak the ugly truth about men. I will speak the ugly truth about queer people. I will speak the ugly truth about the Black community. And I also can stand in the gap for all those tribe members that are connected to my personal intersections. I'm Black, I'm male, I'm queer, etc. And I try to be somebody that just can speak from all sides without unnecessarily protecting any one group just because it's the group. Okay? Because at the end of the day, flaws and errors and issues and evil and unrighteousness, it exists on all sides. Doing wrong is not mutually exclusive to any one sex, to any one group, etc. So, you know, we always have to try to be honest people and have a both-sided ass conversation and acknowledge the things accordingly. So shout out to the ladies who were not afraid to call women out and to hold women accountable and to acknowledge that yes, women do be on a bald-headed hoe shit. Okay, women are also predatorial. Women also are abusive and manipulative and set niggas up and lie about who's the daddy and induce trauma in niggas as well, and weaponize restraining orders, police reports. You know, men, plenty of men, innocent men are in the grave right now because of a bitter ass woman who weaponized the men in their life, their brothers, their fathers, etc., over common relationship issues, and men got killed as a result of a grieved ass woman. So all those things exist on both sides, but people were very triggered. You know, hearing from other women were triggered, hearing from other women. It was all of that going on. Now I got to set another disclaimer here. I think one of the things that happens sometimes when it comes to like these pop culture instances where we're talking about abuse, because there's a parasocial relationship a lot of times with these celebrities from the fans, so people can find themselves more so caping for whomever is their favorite in a situation instead of being very objective and attempting to be as non-biased and to really be as fair as possible. Also, as we said yesterday, everybody's attitude toward these issues that become known to the public via celebrity lifestyle are also informed differently, right? There are people who have only seen but so much. There's other people who have seen certain things that other people have not seen. So no one person looking at what's transpiring is also going to have the same attitude, because what everybody knows about this couple, what everybody has seen from out of Halle and seen from out of DDG is very different. All right. Now, since yesterday, for those of you who don't know, Halle was granted a domestic violence protective order against DDG, or as some of y'all like to call them, DVD or VCR, for physical violence. She recalled some incidents that led to her having a chipped tooth, some bruising on her arm due to a domestic violence incident that she claims took place while she was trying to pack Halo into DDG's car. And that led to a squabble. It led to him smashing her face into the steering wheel, which allegedly led to a chipped tooth, etc. She also posted screenshots and submitted screenshots to the courts to DDG, allegedly entering into her home without consent, taking pictures of her bedroom while she wasn't there, and him weaponizing his fans against her just for the sake of clicks and views, or out of him just being a bitter baby daddy. All right. And this protective order was granted. Now, DDG was actually live streaming on Twitch when news had broke that a judge had granted this restraining order, etc. And now DDG has responded. You guys know DDG's mother also entered the group chat and basically said she will be pretty much defending herself against these claims, because Halle also practically referred to DVD's mom and the family as ultimately enablers. She claimed that after this domestic violence incident, she went to the family's house and she, told them what happened, and they pretty much dismissed her and she left the house hysterical. Well, DVD's mother, Miss DVD, is claiming that, this is all bullshit, it's all cap. And so there is going to be some type of a more nuanced response from the mother, who's been indicted in all of this. I don't know whether that means that DVD is going to respond legally to this restraining order, which he is given the legal right to contest this restraining order, to present his evidence and his argument, before a judge, etc., and or whether the mother is going to do a live stream, etc. But I would be keeping you guys, up to date on all things that play out in Street Committee. Thank you guys so much, because you guys were sending me a lot of stuff this morning and last night in the email. So I love when y'all do that. It helps me to do what I do up here for all y'all much easier. So you can always email me any tea corresponding to Consciouztv@gmail.com and or DM me on Instagram, the tea he. Now, let's talk about restraining order super quick before we get into the thick of this shit. A lot of people felt like because the restraining order was actually granted, that it must have meant that there was merit. That's not per se true. I've been a victim of a frivolous protective order myself. That protective order does not exist anymore. It is null and void and has been canceled. But initially, it was granted against me falsely. I didn't even know the person who had sought a protective order, never had a physical experience with this person, never had any physical interaction with this person. This person was literally just an internet cyber stalker and was attempting to weaponize the judicial system against me because I was testifying against him in another litigation where he was being sued for defamation as a defendant. And he tried to stop me from being a witness in that case by getting a protective order, and somehow thought that getting a protective order would prohibit me from being able to be an active witness for the plaintiff in that case. That did not work to any avail. Protective orders do not provide you immunity as it relates to any type of criminality or civil litigation. So I was still able to testify against his ass. He got sued accordingly, and the plaintiff won their case. Okay? When this all initially happened, this person who put a frivolous protective order out against me in a state, we don't even live in the same state. This person was able to just literally go to the court, tell the judge a bunch of foolishness, have zero fucking evidence, have no data, no nothing, just have a tall tale. And the judge said, all right, restraining order. A week after that, the restraining order was dissolved. But nonetheless, it was initially granted, and granted without a single shred of objective evidence. So because restraining orders can be issued wrongly, because restraining orders can be weaponized by plaintiffs who pursue them, this is why the courts allow the accused party to be able to contest a restraining order. And largely, judges, especially more so when it comes to women, will just go ahead and grant a protective order just because, and expect that if the restraining order is meritless, if the restraining order is not standing on business and is not truth, well, the defendant can contest that, and then that restraining order, protective order, civil protective order can be dissolved. So this idea that protective order being greenlit establishes fact in the case, it actually does not. The legal system is not black and white in that way. I come from a family of lawyers and judges, etc. It's very easy to get a restraining order and a protective order, even outside of interpersonal relationships, etc. So the restraining order is just that. Now, within that restraining order, Haley submitted pictures of her alleged injuries from these DV situations, okay? This is the chipped tooth that she claims was a result of her face being smashed into DDG's steering wheel. And this is some type of a bruising on her forearm because she claimed that they tussled, all right? Now, in being objective, you guys in the chat, y'all can do as y'all please with the narrative. If y'all believe that DDG, is wrong and he did this and you don't need to see nothing else, that's cool. If you in the middle, that's cool. If you team Haley, that's cool. If you team DDG, that's cool. Whatever it is. But as a commentator, it's my responsibility to be super nuanced when I go to do what I do, because it just makes what I do well and very unique. Hold on. Now, and we're going to get into Rubi Rose and all that. The thing about this protective order, right, is that we have screenshots submitted and we have a narrative alongside those screenshots. The reality is we really don't know the factual context behind these images she has submitted. These are just her images, and then this is her narrative about what we're seeing in these images. That's why it's going to be up to DVD to contest that and to give his side and to speak to these allegations, etc., so that we can see what that looks like, how he explains this, and then where that falls on a judge. These pictures in and of themselves don't show anything aside from a bruising that could have happened from her tussling with Chloe playfully, Halo biting into her damn arm, etc. I mean, we don't know. They're just pictures. Her chipped tooth, just like we examined last night, she claims that this was a profound DV experience. So with someone smashing your face into a steering wheel with such force that it would result in any chipping of a tooth, no matter how large or small, that is also enough force to bring about other facial injuries, which she did not show in any of her exhibits. There was no busted lip alongside a chipped tooth, which you would assume that her mouth area would be more injured. She would have some bruising around her mouth. She would have a busted lip, possibly a busted nose, a black eye, bruising on her face. She said her entire face was smashed into the steering wheel, but she only had this chipped tooth, which according to some other views was so tiny that they didn't even realize it was damn chipped at all. Now, the YouTube internet investigators have also spoke some alternatives and felt like they've caught Halle in some lies, even regarding this chipped tooth situation. We're going to get into all of that as well, okay? And then there are the screenshots of him texting her because he's apparently upset that she took Halo to St. Lucia. Hold on, where the fuck is St. Lucia? Hold on, let me look up St. Lucia. Okay, to the Caribbean. This is interesting. So he was upset. Apparently, social media users started to say that, oh, she was out there with her new boyfriend, Brent, on vacation. And so DDG was apparently texting Halle basically like, oh, really? You know, you got my son out of the country, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. If this is how we playing it, then, you know, when I get him, I don't want to hear anything. You guys are going to realize why he said that. Because apparently that was outside of their personal agreement, because they have a agreement that Halo would not be traveling outside of the country at this age. They had an age apparently where, you know, they both would be comfortable with him taking those type of trips and long distance flights, etc. So with her going to St. Lucia in the Caribbean, for him, that was a violation. And I'm going to just show you his commentary. He's going to get into all of that because he kind of spoke to this when he did his initial expose against Halle 2 months ago. All right. So there's all of that. Now, because we got a lot going on here. DDG has responded per Twitter to these claims. He has spoken out on Twitter and basically said, I'm chilling, by the way. I have no worries. I'm streaming later on no days off. Okay. So he seemingly is unbothered and is going to handle that, etc. Now, alongside that, okay, here are social media users poking holes in the Halle exhibits, etc., courtesy of its own site. Social media tries to poke holes in Halle's abuse allegations against DDG after resurfaced video and suspicious text messaging timestamp. After after Halle filed a police report and restraining order accusing DDG of physical abuse, including allegedly chipping her tooth, some social media users are now poking holes in her story. A resurfaced video from January 2025 shows Halle calmly saying that she was headed to the dentist to fix a chipped tooth with no mention of an incident. Critics also questioned the screenshot of her alleged text messages with DDG, noting the timestamp says tomorrow 2027, a format that does not match typical Apple iMessage design. To make things messier, DDG was reportedly live streaming during the same time she claims to have received the message, prompting even more skepticism online. Okay, so based upon the timestamps that maybe she accidentally showed when she posted these exhibits, social media users went back to line up date and times and DDG, and they knew what DDG was doing in real time, when apparently she was claiming that, you know, he was doing whatever he was doing through text, etc. child. So here is some of that. Okay, this is her showing a chipped tooth. I guess she's on Snapchat. She captioned the picture. They said, I need to work on flossing more. I do forget to floss. Okay, now is this a explanation for her chipped tooth? Now, let's talk about the chipped tooth. Nobody asked Halle about her chipped tooth. People even barely noticed she had a chipped tooth. So when she was initially in real time, you know, kind of taking her Snapchat followers through her journey of going to the dentist, she seemingly was fine. Once again, people noticed that she had no bruising, no injuries, and she was just very casual about going to the dentist for a checkup and getting this chipped tooth situated. So is her not flossing more and her showing her chipped tooth the actual explanation for why her tooth is chipped? It's just due to a lack of poor hygiene. Okay, her teeth were becoming compromised as a result of her not cleaning to the degree in which she needs to clean. Now that chipped tooth, for some people, is being argued to be weaponized against DDG in this fabricated DV incident that has no other facial injuries corresponding to someone's face being smashed into a steering wheel with so much force that it would result in the chipping of a tooth. This is another image of her. Halo started walking on his own. Guys, Halo decided today that he was walking on his own. Okay, this is the timestamp of DDG, I guess, live at the time that these alleged text messages, the screenshots. Okay, this is the tomorrow 2020, which is apparently not a typical iMessage iPhone situation, girl. And so all of that. Okay, so people are trying to put two and two together to get to the bottom of the situation. Y'all can judge for yourselves what the fuck y'all believe about the situation, child. All right, now, as all of this is playing out, Rubi Rose and her previous relationship and abuse claims against DDG have also resurfaced. This particular drama got people really in a frenzy because there are people who remembered how Halle collaborated with DVD to pretty much snuff out Rubi Rose, who apparently was also her friend. Rubi Rose and DDG were before there was a Halle in DDG, and Halle was a part of Rubi Rose's friendship circle, so she ended up pretty much picking up with DVD where Rubi left off on. Some people are really feeling a way about this because they felt like Halle is being a pick-Misha. You know, she told y'all to mind y'all motherfucking business, when apparently Rubi Rose and DVD was still corresponding and texting, even when her and him were together, and when Rubi Rose, I guess, made claims that DVD was still hitting her up. Halle, you know, made a social media post saying, you guys don't believe the hype. Basically, you know, Rubi Rose is on her foolishness. She's the devil. She's basically trying to come in between our relationship. And now here it is. She's running down to the courthouse, you know, about abuse, etc. and had already known apparently about these leaked messages from Rubi Rose account being hacked, and they posted these screenshots between DVD and Rubi Rose alleging abuse, and that Halle still went forth into this relationship knowing that someone that she was friends with had already dated him, and apparently there was domestic violence in that relationship. And so there are some people who don't feel sorry for Halle. There are some people who remember that she told everybody to mind their motherfucking business. So that's exactly what the fuck they gonna do, is mind their motherfucking business. There are people arguing that she knew what the fuck she was getting into and she chose them any motherfucking way. So, you know, there are people who just minding the business that pays them, because Haley's John Hancock is not on their personal check, girl. So there's all type of feelings around that. All right. Now, some of the internet users who are, resurfacing the Rubi Rose drama are saying, all I'm going to say is Rubi Rose tried to tell y'all about DDG and y'all bashed that girl and literally ignore her situation because of her brand. Another user says, only reason why people didn't believe Rubi is because they view her as promiscuous. Another person said, now that we've got more insight into Halle and DDG's troublesome and abusive relationship, I hope Halle will make amends with Rubi Rose. I remember when they insulted Rubi when she exposed DDG for texting her, although they knew it was one of their messy couple shenanigans. Here is a screenshot from a user who responded to Halle's post at the time. Halle was responding to Rubi Rose, letting it be known that DVD was still communicating with her or whatever it was. And Halle said this in response: the devil is working. Heart emoji. LOL. Please don't feed into the lies, especially from a third party. Stay blessed, everyone. And so Rubi Rose's friend had posted a caption under Halle's initial post and said, girl, no. Your man was drooling over my sister at Young Miami's party, not even trying to hide it. Everyone saw, LOL, and even had his bodyguard come up to pass along a message. Give me a break. Laughing emoji. You were in Ruby's close friends while she was with DVD, seeing firsthand how he was doing her, and you still wanted to give him a try. Don't be embarrassing. So people are feeling like, girl, this is karma for Halle not being on girl code and thinking that a raggedy tied, stupid ass nigga was going to be any different toward her. Okay. Now, these were pictures that were exposed due to an alleged Rubi Rose hack. She also has bruising on her arm, which seems to be similar to the bruising that Halle showed in her exhibits to the courts. And apparently this was at the hands of DVD back in 2021. Another user says, y'all was calling Rubi Rose everything but a child of God when she spoke about her experience with DVD. And now y'all turning around and sympathizing with Halle, as you should. But it begs the question, why were you also quick to discount Ruby's experience? And that question would have to be posed directly to Halle as well. Another user says Rubi Rose said that she used to post about the abuse she experienced from DVD on her close friends, which included Halle, and Halle still chose to date him. Let this be a reminder to women that if he did it to someone else, he damn sure will do it to you too. Another user says Rubi Rose told us that boy was abusive and all his behavior showed it too. I hope we one day reach a place where women don't have to touch the orange eye to know it's hot and start believing each other's stories. Another user says DDG is an abuser and a cheater, and Rubi Rose been told us. Another user says, I don't like saying I told you so, but Rubi Rose was called everything under the sun for what she said about DVD. Okay, so baby, very, 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 very controversial. And once again, y'all, please run the likes all the way up. Okay, it gets even more interesting, y'all. We ain't hardly finished, girl. This is a very multifaceted shit stew, okay? Because a part of why people also question the alleged allegations, by Rubi Rose via a text thread between her and DVD is because Rubi Rose also was someone who was talking out of both sides of her motherfucking neck. So people could not really call it down the middle. Rubi Rose, matter of fact, let me see if I have Do I have that? Yep. Let me read the text message first. This is the alleged leaked text thread between Rubi and DVD. Okay, it reads, from DVD is in the gray. DVD says, I got you mad, but I'm telling you, Rubi, I'm not la. I'ma fuck your whole career up. Don't do it to yourself. I got love for you. I really don't want to do you bad online. I'm telling you it's going to be bad, Rubi. Just stop. She responds and says, it's already bad, and you're threatening to end my career if I tell people how you hit on me. More things to show on my live. Thank you. He says, LOL, if you go live, bro, just know you really lost me. Have a blast. You gonna lose all respect from me and anybody I fuck with or you fuck with. Just think before you do, is all I'ma say. Shout out to LJ for the reparations. You guys know LJ is our residential MAGA supporter, okay? He pays me reparations every month for voting for Trump. So shout out to LJ for being consistent in his reparations, for having the audacity for being a Black American and voting for Trump ass in office, girl. So shout out to LJ, girl, okay? I can definitely tell y'all that, girl. LJ has consistently been paying me my reparations for him betraying us as a Black community. Oh, yes, God. Oh, yes, God. That's what I call integrity, okay? That eased my pain, all right? So, those were the text messages. Now, I have to say, in those texts, DVD also didn't necessarily refute Rubi Rose claims. He didn't per se argue against what she said. He was just threatening that if she goes online and, talk shit and, puts him in a negative light, that he's going to retaliate. So he did not argue against, her claims. However, for the public, people have felt a lot of ways about Rubi. One, because yes, there is some projection and judgmentalness going on because Rubi Rose is considered a pass around, the industry pass around, and so there's kind of that sexist implication there. But also Rubi Rose has spoken out of both sides of her neck about DDG. So check out this oppositional commentary she gave, which is night and day to her claims that on one hand, he is abusive and terrible, and he, put her on to OnlyFans, and now she can't get off OnlyFans, and blah, 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 la, ska. Where here it is, she's admitting that he's one of her favorite ex-boyfriends. So check this out, courtesy of somebody's platform on YouTube, child.
My favorite boyfriend of all time is none of these. They're all cheaters. No, I'm kidding. But no, my favorite.
Give me a favorite.
I can't even say because all my I think now are with the bitch right now, so I don't want to.
So you still can't say which one was your favorite?
My favorite. Okay, no, my favorite was probably my last boyfriend. His name was DDG, but he was, we just had our differences.
What was his move? What's your best date night with DDG of all time?
He just would do like crazy adventurous stuff, like go on a hike and.
I think we all know her favorite ex. She answered this already.
Okay. So she been in interviews, girl, saying that he's one of her favorite exes. So it's this type of backwards and forwardsness that just leads to people just really not really knowing what the fuck really be going on, because people just be saying everything about one person. So that is that. So I don't know about Rubi Rose and DVD situation. I don't know if when they were texting and she said, you hit me, that what she was really referring to is them both having playful tussle, or, how a man would try to keep his woman from leaving if they get into an argument, and he'll try to, keep her from leaving. So I don't really know what she's talking about, especially when she chose to circle the block and, you know, now claim that he's one of her favorite ex, and now you got Crystal saying she's also known for lying. So that's why I was saying last night, the issue a lot of times be with these narratives against people is that, like, it just be too much being said, and then shit be getting retracted, and then it just be too much to really land your plane anywhere safely, especially also because sometimes the people involved are all problematic in their own ways. So trying to figure out who's who and what's really what is even more fucking complicated when you got liars and clout chasers and you got problematic folk all kind of in one community together. So some people just, baby, they just look, listen, and don't judge. Okay? And I'm starting to become one of those people, baby. Okay? It just be too much shit going on for me. So I'm just bringing you guys all other things. All right? Now, since this restraining order has popped off, DVD's close friend has spoken out in his defense. He's came to DVD's side in his honor and claims that Haley also used to put hands on him and is part of the Illuminati. Okay, now Hollywood Unlocked captioned this and said, "We haven't heard much from DDG since he got rocked by abuse claims made by the mother of his child, Halle Bailey. However, a few people are speaking out to defend him, including his mother. The latest to jump in is fellow YouTuber and streamer Deshae Frost. He has taken it upon himself to protect DDG's reputation just hours after news broke that the singer and actress filed a restraining order against DVD, claiming he had been repeatedly violent towards her. Frost dropped a video denying that DDG would ever do such a thing. He even flipped the script and alleged that Haley was the abuser in their relationship, and he also believes she's part of the Illuminati." Okay, here's what he has to say, Chai.
Some people say, "Oh, let me not speaking on it, whatever," because it's true. Man, that shit not fucking true, bro. If that's why is she coming out right now with all this shit? If that shit in January, why she ain't do all that shit in January? Why you gotta wait 6 months? 6 months and all this other shit. Like, why are you taking that route? You can't prove that this nigga a bad father. You can't prove this nigga a bad father. You can't do that route, or you can't prove that he's not trying to co-parent or do anything. So you gotta pull this card. It's weird. It's weird. It's just weird, bro. And I don't like seeing my brother down or any of that type of shit. So I'm always gonna speak well, speak high of my brother. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird how the timing of everything is. Personally, to me. If you want to ask me, I think Halle's part of the Illuminati. People say, and I see some people say, "Oh, let me not speaking on it, whatever," because it's true. Man, that shit not fucking true, bro. If that's why is she coming out right now with all this shit?
Okay, so he claims, girl, that she has been abusive, etc. We're going to get into that. But you know, in being fair, I have to say this, and once again, I'm not really here to say what did and didn't happen. I'm just here to explain everything and to just really speak from both sides. Y'all can make your own choice on where y'all want to land with all of this. But to his point, I have to say and object to that just because you're close to DVD, just because you're his good friend, doesn't per se mean he's incapable of being abusive to someone else. You know, only DVD and Haley know what has gone on between them, aside from people who literally directly witness anything for themselves. People do have a tendency in personal relationships to show a different side of themselves. So somebody can be a great son or a great daughter. They can be a great mother or a great father and be completely out of their fucking minds as a spouse. Can be a complete train wreck as a spouse, but show up and be great in all these other relationships. So you really can't totally rely on how a person shows up to you as a friend or how they show up to you as your favorite cousin to invalidate how someone may behave in a relationship that by design is more intimate than any other relationship anyway, such as a romantic relationship. Now, with me saying that, that also would be the case for Haley, which is the point that I was making last night, that despite Haley being marketed as a girl next door, her being marketed as the Black Disney princess and as Ariel and the Little Mermaid, and her having this kind of like very clean public image, does not mean that Haley is also not toxic. It doesn't mean she's not abusive. It doesn't mean that who she is in reality is congruent with her public image. And so it works in both directions. We don't know who DVD is interpersonally, and we don't know who Haley is interpersonally. Both of these people are public figures, and they both have made accusations about and against one another. Okay? So there's that. Now, let's get into maybe what some of y'all have not seen. The reason why I was kind of like slow personally to kind of like have this emotional reaction to the claims against DVD by Haley is because, once again, all of the stuff around Rubi Rose, the fact that some of her alleged receipts are not checking out, could these screenshots, be weaponized? They have a different context. And what really stood out to me about the restraining order was the fact that, and this was kind of like the period on the end of the sentence, was the fact that she's trying to go to Italy because she has to film a project in Italy, and she's going to be gone for 2 months, and she wants to take her son. And she literally said that in the restraining order, that she wants to, she wants to have custody of her son. Now, last night, when we were going over some of the legislation put in place to penalize people who weaponize police reports and or restraining orders frivolously and falsely against people, one of the reasons, according to legal experts, that people or spouses particularly will file a frivolous protective order is because it obstructs custody. Okay? Typically, once a domestic restraining order gets filed, it pretty much puts the petitioner in a position to be the dominant parent and have predominant custody until the matter is completely resolved, which is why DDG would have to respond to this restraining order so that a judge can figure out a custody plan, sort through this, etc. But until then, Halo is going to be in Haley's custody. A lot of people were really finding that completely convenient, that she would file this petition against DVD about incidents that took place months ago, that took place last year, at a time where she's going to be going to Italy and obligated to Italy and doesn't want to be without her child. Now, there's a larger context to this, because people were saying, well, what would be the motive? 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 A few months ago, when DVD exposed that Haley was being unreasonable when it comes to custody, she was withholding his child, etc., that she was allegedly trying to etch him out of the picture. He felt like he was being bullied out of his son's life. He felt like things were very unfair and unequal. When she would have him, he claimed that she would not allow him to see Halo on her time, but that when it was his time to have Halo, he couldn't have more than 72 hours alone with Halo before she's already at the house and she's around. And, he claimed that, he was trying to be understanding. She's a new mom, like he's a new dad. She also had claimed that she was suffering from postpartum. So, he's been accommodating of all the things she's claiming is the reason why she can't live without her son. But his problem is that it doesn't go both ways, because he's equally a new dad. He loves his son just as much as she do. You know, he's just as eager to just be a dad and to have access to Halo as she is. And it's not fair that he's doing all the accommodating while he feels like he's being micromanaged and he's being dictated and superimposed upon, and he's being very accepting. But, you know, she on her end hogs him. So let me just show you some of his remarks for those of you who kind of maybe just need to be refreshed on some things. I'm going to show you different clips, you guys. So check out this first clip.
Never been able to. I don't have, all right, like I have never took my son out of the state before. Never been able to. I don't have permission. Like, it's like I have a second mom. Like, I got to ask my second mom, hey, can I take my son? Can I take our son somewhere? But if she want to get up and leave the country and leave the state, I get no say-so whatsoever. I can't say one word because she tell me that she the primary parent. Like, it's like, bro, it's not cool, bro. It's not fair, bro. Like, I promise you, I swear on my life, on my soul, on my son, I never wanted to come on here and say no like.
Okay, so this is interesting to me because this was 2 months ago he was saying this. This is why he was seemingly triggered about the St. Lucia situation. It wasn't really so much, apparently, about it being around her boyfriend, even though he is on video, on live stream, basically saying that he would have an issue with Halo having a stepdad. You know, I dragged DDG for that and basically said, you know, you're in a two-parenting situation. You and her have y'all separate lives. At some point, you're going to have another spouse. At some point, she's going to have another spouse. So you're just going to have to get over yourself. You're just going to have to get over yourself. You can't control, you know, how she moves and if she chooses to date. And, you know, she doesn't have any obligation to not forge ahead with another man who might eventually play a major role in Halo's life just because. You know, she's not mandated to do that. So if she does that, just move your ass around and go get therapy about it. Just like you have a right to marry, to date, to be polygamous, to have a harem of women, to go on with your life, and Haley would just have to fucking deal with it. She has no right to, you know, infringe upon that, and she would just have to accept Halo having a stepmom as well. However, considering the screenshots that Haley posted of him pretty much being upset that she took Halo to the Caribbean, it more so was because they had an agreement that Halo was not to be taken out of the country. And he's upset because he feels like she's once again being the dictator. He's honoring these stipulations, but she is not. She feels she can do whatever she wants to do because she's quote unquote the primary parent. She's the mother, and he feels just like a fucking nanny or a part of the fucking help instead of a co-equal in this situation. So when he got wind that they were on vacation and all of this shit, yeah, you know, he was upset because he's yet to take his son out of the country, etc. But, you know, she's pooching around doing as she pleases. All right. Let's get into some more commentary from him. And you guys thumbs up, please, because the king is working, child. I had to screen record all this shit. So, baby, y'all better make it do what it do.
That said to me is so, if I heard it, it's on some leave us alone type. I'm like, bro, like, now I can see if I, like, a no in the world can tell me that I'm a deadbeat or a bad dad. No in the world can ever say that to me. If my son can talk, he'll tell you my pops is the realest ever. This me.
Okay, let's get into some more commentary from him.
I haven't had to have my son to myself for longer than 72 hours, max. He's getting picked up, taken away. I can't come get him, whatever. Like, it's like, I don't know what to do at this point. I genuinely don't know what to do. And it's like, I'm just going to come on here and just say what I say and then get off, go about my day. I just feel like this needs to happen. It needs to be some type of repercussions for this, because I'm not a deadbeat, nowhere near. I have inspired dads across the world.
Okay, let's get into more commentary. Let me see here. Where am I? Okay.
I'm getting bullied. I'm constantly being called a secondary parent, not a primary parent. And it's like, I just don't know what to do at this point.
Yeah, he's saying that he's not allowed to at all, a letter or a no letter, that it's off the table for him to take Halo anywhere, but she does as she pleases, and he finds that to be unfair. And now we're going to get into this last excerpt from his commentary.
My son, that's all I care about. Literally, that's all I care about. And when that's taken from me, she knows that's the only way I get frustrated. That's the only way she can get under my skin, because I don't care what she does. We haven't been together. And this might be a curveball to a lot of people, but me and her has not been together for a long time. A long time. Before that post, we've been not really together. We probably was on and off for a little bit. That's it. But further than that, we has not been together. This is the only thing that can bother me is with my son. Y'all know I don't even bring her name up when I get on live. I get on live, I call her the mother of my child. I call her this and that, nothing but be respectful.
Now, this was 2 months ago. Now, since this, you know, he definitely has done his fair share of trolling. And some of that trolling has honestly weirded me out. And I get it. He feels, you know, like he's being done wrong. I believe secondary parent is a legal term, but, you know, these are not lawyers and attorneys. You know, him and Haley are just two regular people. And so the verbiage just sounds really passive and dismissive to him. And he feels like she leans upon that terminology in a situation where they don't even have a legal agreement. And that's his whole point. His whole issue is we don't have the courts in between us. So technically, there doesn't exist a primary, secondary parent. We both are just parents. And we both are trying to do this thing amicably without the court's intervention. And there's no reason between you being rich, me being rich, you loving your son, me loving my son, that we should not be able to just make this co-parenting thing make sense. And his issue is, you know, it seemingly is very lopsided, and that she takes it upon herself to be the dictator, and she's being a hypocrite because she lays down the law of the land, but she don't even honor the law of the land that she lays down. He feels gaslit because he got to honor that shit, but she don't. So if we're going to do it outside the courts, you're not a primary parent and I'm not a secondary parent. We both are parents. He has a mom and a dad. And it should be easy for us to make the shit make sense. And as he said in his other video where Haley had that outburst about the Kai Cenat stream, and she was just like, I didn't know my son was going to be on camera today. And then she came back and apologized for overreacting and said her issue was that she just didn't feel, you know, she just didn't know where her son was going to be. It's interesting now when he made these videos because to his point that, you know, he feels micromanaged and she's always kind of hovering and shadowing and, you know, all up in his shit when it comes to Halo. And then there was that Kai Cenat issue, and then she apologized and she admitted she was overreacting, and she admitted her issue wasn't even that he was with Kai Cenat. It wasn't even what was going on at Kai Cenat's house. Her issue was that I just didn't know. I just didn't know where he was going to be or what he was going to be doing. I just didn't know. So, seems to have some substance to this claim that Halle is, you know, I mean, she's on her dictator shit. It's my son, my son, my son. Okay? You just an extra, baby, on set. Okay? You just an extra on set, darling. Now let me find my... Okay, here we are. Now, to his point, I want you guys to check this out, because I believe that Halle is suffering from something called enmeshment. And for those of you who don't know what the fuck enmeshment is, enmeshment is a psychological context that refers to a relationship categorized by blurred boundaries, often between family members, where individuals are over-involved in each other's lives, leading to a lack of autonomy and difficulty maintaining healthy, independent relationships. It's a concept that can have negative implications for individuals' development and family dynamics. Okay, let's look at the definition of parental enmeshment. Parental enmeshment is a family dynamic where parents emotionally manipulate their children to control them, often preventing their personal growth. Enmeshed families lack boundaries, confuse roles, and have blurry expectations. Parents may rely on their children for emotional support, preventing them from becoming emotionally independent. Those children may grow up with poorly defined boundaries and a lack of emotional independence, which sometimes become the husbands of tomorrow that you ladies like to call a mama's boy. Let's listen to Halle talk about her crippling inability to be functional without her son, courtesy of the KN Media platform.
Everybody's asking, how's the baby? He is so good. He's amazing. He's with his daddy right now. You guys, okay, so for everybody who knows, since I started this movie, I've been on this for I've been out here for a month and a half, living out here. And because I just love my baby so much, I need him with me in order to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So he's been out here with me majority of the time. But this week...
Okay, so you just heard her. And like I was saying last night, baby, we don't have to put no words in her mouth. Okay, everything that I said about Halle has come out of her mouth, not her ex's mouth per se, not third party, but what came out of her mouth. She admitted that she has an unhealthy codependency upon her child. She admitted that she has to be with him always. Okay, she's going to go further into her enmeshment.
I've been out here for a month and a half, living out here, and because I just love my baby so much, I need him with me in order to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So
she needs her baby in order to work and to do her things and to be on set and to be focused, etc.
He's been out here with me majority of the time.
She also admits that Halo been with her the majority of the time. So to DDG's point that despite the clips of him and Halo together that get in rotation and that go viral and that show up in your algorithm again and again and again and again and again, he actually is not with his son in the way that the algorithm would have you believe, because if anybody actually watches his live streams, then they would know that he doesn't even have Halo more than half the damn time. But people only believe he has Halo even more so than Halle has Halo, because Halo goes viral. So you see these clips of DDG and Halo over and 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 over again, when in reality, these are just clip moments from the times he's had his son, which does not actually speak to the consistency that people would think is there due to the repetitive clips that are always in the Instagram algorithm, always in the YouTube algorithm. And here it is, she admits, even when she's working, even when this would be an opportune, ideal time for him to be with his dad, because she needs to go be a big girl, and she needs to go make big girl money, and she needs to go also tend to her other responsibilities, because Halo has a grandmother, he has a father, he has a granddad. Even under this ideal situation where she, can put him off on his father, Halo has been with her the majority of the time. She's not even on vacation. It's not that she's at home doing nothing, and it just makes sense for her to want to be under her son. She's working and still needs her son with her and has been with her even the majority of the time while she's actively working. These are her admissions, okay? I'm just making it make sense. I'm just making the shit make sense.
This week, and I go home on the weekends. But this week, I had a lighter week, and I'm going home tomorrow. I got here last night, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I was like, let me try to test myself and see if I can be without him for day and leave him, let him and his daddy have daddy and son time.
Now here it is!
And you guys,
Halle admits she got a problem to the point that she has to test herself to go at least a day without her son and let him enjoy his time with his dad without her being driven crazy personally because she is obsessed with her child. This is actually a struggle for her to let Halo go. It is a struggle for her, for Halo to exist outside of her and for her to be functional and independent without being coddled by Halo. This is her shit, okay? So this is why I don't be caring what nobody says on Haley's behalf. I'm listening to Halle. I'm listening to what comes out of her mouth about her. I'm listening to her admissions. I'm listening to what she says. She's speaking for Halle. And I'm going to believe Halle about Halle. I'm definitely always going to believe the person about the person. What they say about themselves is the tea, it's the truth. The horse has spoken more than alone. That's why I said last night, y'all can go take that up with Halle. Ain't nobody bashing Halle, ain't nobody being evil to Halle, ain't nobody hating on Halle. People are just talking about what they've bear witness from her mouth. What they've bear witness based upon her witness, firsthand testimony of herself. What she's speaking to in her consciousness. Her reading herself. Okay? So all this conversation from DVD that this shit been an issue. It's been an issue since Halo been in the world. I can't have no time with my son. I'm having to fight with her tooth and nail. And she's admitting she has a issue with codependency. She has a fucking issue with clinginess. She has an issue with sharing a son that she did not immaculately conceive with the Holy Ghost. If the Holy Ghost was Haley's baby daddy, it wouldn't be no issue here. But she had a child with another person. Whether she's the mama or the daddy in a situation, Halo belongs 50-50 to two different people. And it's inappropriate for her to be inconsiderate of that dynamic because Halo is just not hers alone. He never has been, and he never will be. And being a new mom is not an excuse because a DVD is a new father. So a lot of y'all wouldn't even be championed behind her behavior if her behavior was DVD's proclamation. If he was here saying, I ain't letting my son go, he need to be with me all the motherfucking time, and fuck his mama, y'all will not be sitting here saying, oh, he's a new dad. He's a new dad. He's a new dad. So the new dad, new mom shit goes out of the window. Custody has to work as fairly as possible and as realistically as possible between them because Halo is both of theirs. And being a new mom and a new dad is not an excuse to be selfish. It's not an excuse to hoard the child. Now, it may be understandable. It may be reasonable, of course, but we're grown. So how this needs to be dictated between two grown-ass people who co-created a child together cannot be rationed by people's personal feelings. Oh, well, I'm a new mom, so I feel. Or I'm a new dad, so I feel. We still got to share. We got to figure it out and use all that little mermaid money to get you some help, sis, on your enmeshment, on your codependency, on your inability to go function as an adult. Because, see, DVD don't have this issue. And she said that in her own paperwork to the court. She said when he with his daddy leaves Halo to be cared for by DVD's mother, Halo's grandmother. So DVD is able to go make money. He's able to go do what he got to do and get everything done while also being a daddy. Unlike her, she can't even function without Halo. So she admitted that DVD really don't even suffer from enmeshment. He's able to deal, he's able to be high functioning, etc. And I also thought it was so weird that she thought that was a dig at DVD, that when it's his time with Halo, that sometimes he has to leave and Halo is left in the care of his grandmother. Yeah, DVD is a grown-ass man. He has a job. That big-ass house that Halo lives in, that multi-million-dollar ass property that Halo lives in, all them goddamn baby toys and jewelry and bracelets and all that shit we see him gifted with, and we see his lifestyle via DVD, it got to be paid for, Miss Mamas. DVD is a dad, and the nigga is also employed. What, like, it's not a dig that he also needs his mother to act as a caregiver at various times through his time with Halo, because he still got shit to do. Especially when she just also told the courts in her paperwork that she gonna require the same thing, except she used nannies. She literally said, Judge, can you greenlight me taking Halo to Italy, etc. for 2 months? You know, I'm gonna have full service employees and nannies around the clock. So how is it okay for you to have nannies to care for Halo because you gotta work, but DVD can't have his own mother, who is Halo's grandmother, be a caregiver and a nanny when he have other things he got to tend to throughout the day? That don't make no motherfucking sense. Trying to slam him for not being able to have an entire week where he don't work, he don't stream, he don't do nothing but lay up under Halo while you're sitting here petitioning to the courts to take Halo across the country or out of the country while also working, and are going to have nannies in place. Like, it's the confusion for me.
I miss him so much. But everybody knows Remu's the best daddy to him. But I miss him so much. Yesterday on the plane, I was crying And I went to, the little...
Here's the other gag. DVD said he don't even know the fucking nanny's name. He don't even know these bitches' names that be caring for his children. But guess what? Haley knows DVD's mother. Haley has a relationship to the woman that acts as a nanny for his child, Halo's grandmother, while he doesn't even know the fucking first or last name of the illegal immigrant of the DEI hire that's breastfeeding his child while in the custody of Haley. Now, continue to listen to her enmeshment.
Yesterday on the plane, I was crying, and I went to, the little airport stores. I bought a...
He can pay me, DVD. Run that coin, baby. Look, everybody knows how I get down. I done ran whole attorneys off cases, baby. Just ask Larry Reed, okay? Baby, I be out lawyering the goddamn lawyers. I done literally ran them off of cases. I'm literally in federal paperwork, in memorandums by attorneys talking about and begging the judge to relieve them of lawyering for the defendant because I'm out here, girl. Exposing the shenanigans, girl, making it hard for them to sell them tall tales on behalf of their goddamn clients, baby. Okay? DVD, run me the check, my ninja.
Bear. And I was like clutching it to my chest. I bought a Build-A-Bear.
And all y'all are bringing up him. I don't know what he broke it to her home. Like I said on last night. All we got are screenshots. I don't know what the real context is to those screenshots. They're the screenshots. They're the screenshots. For all I know, she was in the damn house and told him to come through the side door. That's why I'm interested to hear from him and to have him speak to this. But this is just still one side of the story. She presented still shots and she said this was the context for those still shots. That's only one side of the conversation. So for me, that's not per se proof. That is her claim and that is her allegation. It's going to be DVD's job to respond to that and to add his piece to all of that so we can get a full view and assess the situation and the judge can get all up into this based upon now having both sides of the situation, which may result in a mutual restraining order on both of their parts. Judges a lot of times will do that. If the defendant actually presents a strong case and they're actually innocent in the situation, they can reverse a protective order. Or if the judge feels like, all right, both of y'all are messy, it's clear y'all don't get along, a lot of times judges will just grant a mutual protective order on both parts and get folk up out of his or her goddamn face. But anyway, back to this enmeshment journey.
Bought a teddy bear and I was like clutching it to my chest. I bought a Build-A-Bear and a blanket and I was clutching it to my chest, literally on the plane last night crying to not feel like miserable without him. I love him so much, guys. I don't know how this is possible. Anyway.
So she talked about being so codependent that she needed a emotional support teddy bear. She had to cry all the way from the airport on the plane, etc., and get her a teddy bear to supplement the presence of her son child. I mean, this woman is really talking about being physiologically, emotionally, and mentally crippled when she doesn't have access to her child. She is a complete train wreck.
Because this whole live will be about Halo. But I just wanted to come on here because I'm waiting. And I miss you guys.
It don't mean it ain't what's happening here either. But it is what's actually happening. Because that's what she's experiencing based upon what she's describing. And it's a problem. And DVD is saying it's a problem. She's even saying it's a problem. She has to test herself and put herself through these exercises in order to even break up what she's also acknowledging is a problem. So it doesn't matter what y'all are saying. It's about what she is saying. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't like this kind of teaching, maybe because y'all don't like facts. Y'all don't like when y'all storylines and y'all narratives and projections do not, meet the burden of proof. Y'all don't like that, okay? Y'all be so invested in what y'all want a situation to be that y'all can't entertain nothing else. Nothing y'all are going to say is going to beat what is coming out of her mouth about herself, which happens to be completely congruent with the claims made against DVD against her 2 months ago. I'm so sorry, baby, that is a tough cookie, baby. I am so sorry. But that's why you shouldn't be that tied and emotionally invested to begin with the people's shit. Because you don't know these motherfucking people. So you're always going to run the risk of being stressed out over other people's shit that ain't got nothing to do with you to begin with. Okay? So it's easier to just keep an open mind and to just listen to everything and try to put as much in the context and just not be personally, emotionally invested, child. Because then Haley is going to get up here and embarrass you by saying, no, bitch, I do have an issue. I am over dependent upon my damn son. I am struggling to let him go be with his motherfucking daddy. I can't work. I can't function. I'm crying all day. I can't move without my kid.
Yeah. Let's see. Are you asking some questions?
All right. Now, this is even more interesting because remember, DVD's friend said this. Let's play this again.
If that shit in January, why she ain't do all that shit in January? Why you gotta wait 6 months? 6 months and all this other shit. Like, why are you taking that route? You can't prove that this nigga a bad father. You can't prove this nigga a bad father. You can't do that route. Or you can't prove that he's not trying to co-parent or do anything. So you gotta pull this card. It's weird. It's weird. It's just weird, bro. And I don't like seeing my brother down or any of that type of shit. So I'm always gonna speak well, speak high of my brother. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird how the timing of everything is. Personally, to me.
And guess what? You deal with postpartum by going to get help, not by manipulating and obligating the other parent to have to accommodate your postpartum, especially when you are a very rich bitch. Haley makes a lot of money. She has access to the best of doctors and therapists to help her navigate her postpartum. That should not be a burden inherited by DDD or DVD or VCR because he's a new dad as well. Her postpartum is her personal issue, and she has to take up resolving that in the appropriate fashion instead of trying to treat that by hoarding the kid, which is only going to make her codependency, her enmeshment, her postpartum even worse. And it's infringing upon her ability to be functional outside of Halo's presence. It's also infringing upon her ability to be reasonable and diplomatic in this custody situation with VCR. Okay, so if she got postpartum, if she got enmeshment, whatever she got that's informing her obsession with Halo, that's leading to emotional distress for DVD, who's also trying to enjoy his time as a new dad, that's on Haley to resolve. DVD actually does not have to accommodate that. He's being kind in doing so. He's been kind in accommodating it. He even came to her defense when the whole Kaisa Knot thing blew up and said, look, she said she got postpartum. I'm trying to understand that. Y'all be easy on her, etc. He thought the issue would clear itself up. He thought it would pass by now. but to him, it's starting to feel like either postpartum is being used as an excuse for her to micromanage, for her to infringe upon his personal time, for her to hog Halo, and or she's using what could be a genuine mental health issue as a crutch. And either way is inappropriate. And either way, this cannot lead to a proper remedy. She needs help. She needs help to treat this.
If you want to ask me, I think Halle's part of the Illuminati. People say, and I see some people say, "Oh, let me not speaking on it, whatever," because it's true. Man, that shit not fucking true, bro. If that's why is she coming out right now with all this shit?
Okay, now apparently in this live stream, he also said that Halle is also physically abusive to DVD as well. What's fascinating about that is check out what Halle once again has to say for herself.
All of the above. Where you go? Who are you with? That's me. Oh, how long are you gonna be there? Oh, okay, cool. Good to know. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. All of the above. Where you go? Who are you with? That's me. Oh, how long are you gonna be there? Oh, okay, cool. Good to know. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend.
So Halle also admits that not only does she like bad boys and that she likes thugs, that her sister Chloe likes the squares. She likes the ignorant niggas. She likes the rough niggas. She likes the ninjas. But she's also a toxic bitch herself. She's jealous. She's territorial. She micromanages. She want to know what the fuck you doing, where the fuck you at. You better check the fuck in with her like she a part of the goddamn mob. Okay? So, once again, these are all the things that are informing people's attitude toward this situation, girl. Okay? Now, once again, I'm aware that a lot of y'all may not have seen a lot of this shit. A lot of y'all may not know these personal testimonies of Halle exist. And this is why some people are being very slow to jump to conclusions. They want to see both sides. And this is why a lot of people feel like it's equal measure. That is clearly an issue of two immature ass people. Both of them perpetuate crazy men on each other. Halle just does that shit more personally and privately, while some of DVD's behavior is kind of like outside. She's more covert in the way she gaslights. She's more covert in the way that she goes about menacing and being problematic. DVD is more outwardly a nuisance. So his shit is more clockable. But here it is, Little Miss Mermaid is talking about, yes, being obsessed with her son, struggling to let the father, even though she takes up most of the time with her son, even when she's working, she still takes up most of the time, that she's into bad boys, she's into thugs compared to Chloe, and she is a jealous territorial bitch, and she also broke girl code and went behind Rubi Rose back and started dating Rubi Rose's ex, which is DVD, even after Rubi Rose text messages had leaked. And then when y'all tried to save her, when the relationship became public, she told y'all to stay in y'all motherfucking place, bitch. She said, mind y'all business. So this is a situation that seems to be out of control. You have two young, rich, privileged people who are new parents, who have a lot of problematic shit in their personality traits that they ain't got treated for, and having a child together has just kind of brought out all of that behavior to the forefront. Halo has literally illuminated all of the dark shit in the crevices of his parents' personalities, their personality dynamics, all of the rough patches within them. Girl, Halo is the damn ego death. It's the dark night of the soul for DVD and Miss Chicken of the Sea. Now, let me see what I got up here. I ain't even gonna use that. So, my final thoughts is DVD needs to respond. And like I said last night, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a buck and be non-biased. When DVD made these claims about her ass 2 months ago, she ain't contested. She ain't refuted. So I was inclined to believe it because she let him tell her truth and did not appeal that truth. And then there was all this circumstantial evidence to back up what his issues were. If DVD does not respond to the allegations made against him, just like in Haley's case, I'm going to believe her tea about him. If he let this shit slide and plays the background and go tucks his head in the sand, I don't know whether he's truly guilty or not. But what I do know is I'm going to take it as, hey, you must have no problem with this narrative on you, brother. And I'm going to then let that stand. So just like she didn't clear up his allegations, I'm going to assume that they true then. If he don't appeal to her claims, I'm going to assume that the allegations against his ass are in fact true. And it bees what it bees. Rubi Rose, for the public, is not a credible witness because she lies on other people. She has made these claims against DVD and then also held him up as one of her favorite ex-boyfriends. So, you know, she canceled herself in terms of being a credible witness on the stand, girl, because she plays too many Harani Ho games. So we'll see what happens. Once again, the mama said she's going to be coming forward. We'll keep up. I'll let you guys know if DVD appeals. If he speaks in a nuanced way to these claims, girl. And, you know, we'll continue, girl, to just sort through, child. But like I always say, child, you know, it just be a lot going on and out of Miss Ariel's mouth.
All of the above. Where you go? Who are you with? That's me. Oh, how long are you going to be there? Oh, okay. Cool. Good to know. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend.
Now, some people are saying, is a temporary order a permanent? Most restraining orders are not a permanent. They have an expiration date. So the protective order can be anywhere from 6 months to a year to 3 years to 5 years. But typically, protective orders and restraining orders have an expiration date. They do not hardly ever result in a lifelong situation. And once again, she is seeking this protective order at a time where she has to go film in Italy and told the court she wants her son with her. Filing this protective order is a way for her to obstruct custody, which it has successfully done, which was her plan. And that's why people are also questioning the timing of this, because she's speaking about alleged incidences that took place months ago and last year, and just now filing a protective order at a time where she has to go to Italy, and she doesn't want to have to accommodate DVD. She don't want to have to go a month or two without seeing her son, because it's going to obviously be very high maintenance for her to be in Italy and her son be in America and trying to figure out, you know, how to get that dealt with between two parents who got a co-parent. So, baby, I don't know whether Alex Spiro is on the case and advising Halo. I don't know whether Haley sat down with Alex girl and said, look, nigga, tell me how to alley-oop the criminal justice system, girl, so I can get full custody of my son, because it's no way in hell I'm going to go without my son in Italy. It's no way in hell. And baby, if I got to manipulate some shit, if I got to misrepresent some truths, if I got to go throw myself up against a wall like the bitch in a thin line between love and hate, baby, and manufacture some receipts, what do I need to do in order to get custody, baby? And Alex Spiro sat down and gave her the game and said, all right, we're going to need some evidence of some harassment, some abuse, etc. All right, you need to file a domestic violence petition, etc. This is going to bring the custody situation to a halt. He won't be able to have Halo. You'll be able to be in Italy and not have to accommodate his ass. Girl, I don't know what done happened, baby. Okay, but folks also saying, girl, DVD need to be careful when it comes to Haley, because she connected to the Rock Nation camp, girl. Okay? And, you know, Rock Nation allegedly is he's being accused of sitting Tory Lanez ass down. They got Slot Radio ass over there in a chokehold because of all that cyber stalking she did to make it a stallion. You know, he down there, Jay-Z and Alex down there giving damn Tony Busby a run for his damn money, snatching his licensing, running down on Jane Doe, putting the goons on her motherfucking ass, baby. And now DVD girl, VCR, baby, huffing, baby. Too much going on. Too much going on, John. So, baby, I don't know what DVD gonna do, but this thing is about to get real interesting, girl. I will keep y'all updated, baby, on the fuckery and the foolishness. If y'all see anything that correlates to the story, email it to me. Consciouztv, email it to me. And you know, I will present those findings to y'all. And I will see you guys at 6 for day 3 of Cassie and Diddy trial. Please thumbs up the video. Tell me what you guys think below. If you enjoyed yourself, show some love to the Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or paypal.me/Consciouztv. And I will see you all next time. Peace.